And now we'll officially start our meeting. If you'll join me with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome to the Clermont County Board of Commissioners meeting this 14th day of December. And I will call this meeting to order. Prior to moving on with our agenda, I would just like to acknowledge that Commissioner Humphrey is with us here by virtual meeting, and we have been doing that for quite some time. Commissioner Humphrey?
Hello.
Thanks for being with us.
Thank you. I'm in the office at home, so no mask on today.
All righty. And I see that you are wearing your Christmas tie.
I am, yes.
All right. All right. Merry Christmas, Ed.
Merry Christmas.
We'll move on with the agenda. The approval of regular session minutes of December 8th, 2020. Board, I know you've had these minutes, had an opportunity to look them over. Have any clarifications or revisions made that you needed? Do I have a motion to approve the regular session minutes of December 8th, 2020?
So moved.
I'll second.
Been moved and received a second. Roll call, Holly.
Commissioner Humphrey,
Aye.
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes. Item number C, I understand we have a presentation. Kevin Fink, Area Executive Vice President of Arthur J. Gallagher Risk Management Services Incorporated, Property and Liability Insurance. And Mary Raines is here with us today. Morning, Mary.
Good morning. Yes, we invited Kevin to come and give a little bit of a background on what's going on in the insurance market this year. He and I have been in touch throughout the year, and in the appropriation recommendation, we've added $137,000 to account for the 15 to 25% increase that Kevin had talked to us about back in the spring, to just be aware of, so that we were not caught totally off guard with the way the market is going. I mentioned that to you the past couple weeks when we talked about the appropriation. So this is just an overview. Kevin's going to give you a brief background on what's going on in the market. And then Wednesday, we'll come back with a recommendation on our renewal policies.
Thank you. Kevin, you with us?
He is. He's on mute.
Yep.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Good morning.
Morning.
And Merry Christmas. I wish I was delivering a wonderful news present for you, but this 2020 is a year that keeps giving, but unfortunately, it's nothing that any of us want. As Mary indicated, I've been trying to keep the administration apprised of changes that are going on in the commercial insurance marketplace, and I gave her kind of a short 2-page summary overview. It also included some of the marketing efforts and various industry articles that document the challenges that we're facing. I'm not sure if you've had a chance to review all of that, but to try to summarize it as succinctly as I can, the property market was under duress, and it started changing in late 2018 and quickly accelerated all throughout 2019. To give a little background or set the stage, on average, there are about $6.2 billion plus events in the United States. The last several years has driven that up dramatically. In 2015, there were $14 billion plus weather events. 15 in 2016, you probably recall Harvey, Irma, and Maria, plus 13 other billion-dollar events in 2017. 2018 had another 14. 19 is actually close to the average, around 6 to 8. In 2020, which seems to be par for the course, if you followed the news, over 26 named storms, 10 hits to the U.S., the wildfires, the Jericho event in the Midwest. Then we've got riots and pandemic litigation. Now, we knew this was coming because of your timing at the end of the year. We extensively marketed your property last year, and we ultimately ended up changing insurance companies. I'm going to be recommending that you remain with the incumbent carrier for this year. The renewal this year is still better than any other option that we had from last year. In my opinion, it's better than the market average for your risk profile. The other issue is marketing and changing carriers too often, going every year like that, I can't think of a better way to put it, but essentially there's no date when you need one. They see your account, they lose interest, it doesn't make sense. And this year's renewal, I think, like I said, is better than market average for your risk profile. Now, the sad part of the story is respects liability. This market was already rising due to litigation financing and loss trends, but with all-time low interest rates, I think global interest rates are at zero or near zero, and social inflation pushing higher verdicts has become very, very challenging. Most of this is in the upper excess liability carriers. They were finding themselves coming into play much more frequently than anticipated, or to which the business was originally underwritten. Verdicts that we typically saw in California and New York are replicating throughout other parts of the country now. As books of business were reviewed, and carriers left certain industries or classes of business, or else they tried to price themselves out of a renewal, and they found the renewal quote still held. It just accelerated or to increase the pricing of these layers of insurance even more. In the last probably 4 weeks, it's just ballooned to the point where obtaining any kind of reasonable renewal terms is unbelievably difficult. I'll add to that, you've got law enforcement, which is also very challenging risk exposure in the business now. There's greater uncertainty for this risk. You remember Michael Brown, Tamir Rice, and various others, and then just recently Breonna Taylor and George Floyd. It appears that qualified immunity may be under attack, and what I would state in general is just a greater hostility towards law enforcement. And this is a personal concern. I have a son that's pursuing a career in it and doing an internship with the U.S. Marshals next semester. But it's another area that makes this very challenging for your risk profile. And sexual abuse and molestation, while not a major issue for the county, just to give you an idea, that area is down to just a handful of companies. A lot of that, think of the recent higher education with Michigan State. You still have Penn State on people's minds, the Boy Scouts, and basically any organization that deals with youth. Unfortunately, sexual predators go where they have access. But what we're seeing in numerous governmental entities in different regions of the country that purchase excess liability are at a point where they're being forced to cut the insurance limits they buy due to the price or availability of the coverage. Now, finally, wrap up with cyber liability. That has rapidly and significantly hardened joining the balance of the commercial market. We've seen losses become much more severe among the carriers. This is domestically and internationally, and ransom demands are frequently exceeding 7 figures. Data breach, the ransomware with social engineering, those have been front and center, and they're not showing any signs of abatement. The sector that's getting the worst experience, public entity. We've had several carriers that just dropped out of it recently or making their minimum retentions, or deductibles for lack of a better word, start up at $250,000. And part of it is, it's driven, many public entities, the schools, counties, cities, they just don't have the appropriation, for the information security controls or the employee training programs or the infrastructure to mitigate all these evolving risks. In any event, I've done my best to try to keep the administration apprised of all this, but unfortunately the pace of change is just accelerating faster than I can provide guidance. So what am I setting the stage? What does all this lead up to? And for the county's renewal, I have everything together with the exception of the excess liability, which is going to be the biggest cost driver. I'm satisfied in making a recommendation to the board on the balance of renewal coverage for December 16th, with the possible exception of the excess liability. And what I'm going to suggest is that the board will approve the renewal of all the other coverage lines and delay approval of the excess liability if I don't have that completed by Wednesday until the meeting on the 28th. But that's where we are with this.
Thank you, Kevin. I think that gives you the background. We sent you the market articles that Kevin sent. We sent that to you over the weekend for you to review and just to give you any idea of what is going on. And like Kevin said, it's not just a local issue. It's not even just a national issue. It's globally. what's going on in the marketplace.
Mary, where do we think we'll come in on that? What was it? You thought 15 to 25%?
We have just over 20% budgeted right now, which still leaves some available for the excess liability.
Okay.
And that's where Kevin is just still working his heart out on our behalf to get something.
Board, any further questions for Mary or Kevin?
No, I think it's understandable.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks, Kevin, for being with us today, and Mary, thank you.
And thank you, Commissioners. Like I said, in spite of the bad news, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to you.
You too.
Thanks.
You too.
Thank you, Mary.
We'll move to item D, the consent agenda. The consent agenda has been prepared for the board. You've had the opportunity since Friday to take a look at it early. Are there any items that we need to move off of the consent agenda for further conversation or discussion? Hearing none, I'd ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda as prepared.
I make the motion.
Second?
Then moved and received a second. Roll call, Holly.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Humphrey,
Aye.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes. Item E, the non-consent agenda starts on page 3 at item 4.
Morning, Commissioners. Craig Reisner, Clermont County Engineer's Office. Item number 4 is a recommendation of Jeremy Evans, County Engineer, with concurrence of Thomas Eigel, County Administrator, to execute record plat number 629-3247 for the following subdivision in Pierce Township, to further execute a combined performance maintenance bond as well as a performance bond for sidewalks. The performance bond is $50,000, the maintenance bond is $11,000, and the sidewalk bond is $54,000.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 4. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
I'll second.
Then moved and received a second. Any further conversation or discussion? Roll call, Holly.
Commissioner Humphrey,
Aye.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes. Item number 5.
Item 5 is the recommendation of Jeremy Evans, County Engineer, with concurrence of Thomas Eigel, County Administrator, to adopt resolution number 186-20 to convert the combined performance maintenance bond in the amounts listed below for the construction of streets and stated lengths in the following subdivision of Miami Township. This is a conversion for Willowbrook Farm, Section 1, and the performance bond was $88,000. It's going to be converted to a maintenance bond of $21,000.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 5. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second?
Then moved and received a second. Anything further? Roll call, Holly.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Humphrey,
Aye.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes. Item number 6.
Item 6 is a recommendation of Jeremy Evans, County Engineer, with concurrence of Thomas Eigel, County Administrator, to adopt resolution number 187-20 to convert a combined performance maintenance bond in the amount listed below for the construction of streets in the following subdivision in Miami Township from the performance bond phase to the maintenance bond phase. This is Willowbrook Farms subdivision section 2, and we're going to convert the $87,000 performance bond to a $20,000 maintenance bond.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 6. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
I'll second.
Then moved and received a second. Any further conversation? Roll call, Holly.
Commissioner Humphrey,
Aye.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes. Item number 7.
Item 7 is a recommendation of Jeremy Evans, County Engineer, with concurrence of Thomas Eigel, County Administrator, to adopt resolution number 188-20 to convert the combined performance maintenance bond in the amount listed below the construction of streets in the following subdivision. This is Estrella subdivision phase 3, and the performance bond was $50,000, reduced to $12,000 for the maintenance bond. This one is a little bit different. It actually is contained in 2 townships. So the bond covers both Batavia and Union Township streets.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 7. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'll make the motion.
Second?
Then moved and received a second. Any further conversation? Roll call, Holly.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Humphrey,
Aye.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes. Item number 8.
Item 8 is the recommendation of Jeremy Evans, County Engineer, with concurrence of Thomas Igoe, County Administrator, to authorize the release of a 3-year performance bond for sidewalks in the following subdivision in Miami Township. It's Willows Bend subdivision, section 4A, and asking for the release of a performance bond in the amount of $7,020.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 8. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
I'll second.
Been moved and received a second. Any further conversation? Roll call, Holly.
Commissioner Humphrey,
Aye.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes. Item number 9.
Item 9 is the recommendation of Jeremy Evans, County Engineer, with concurrence of Thomas Igoe, County Administrator, to approve the request of the developer for the following subdivision to reduce the amount of a performance bond for sidewalks. This is Willows Bend subdivision, section 3, located in Miami Township. This is a 75% sidewalk bond reduction. The initial amount is $12,340, and the revised amount will be $3,085.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 9. Do I have a motion for approval?
I make the motion.
I'm sorry, second.
Been moved and received a second. Anything further?
Was that, was that $3,085?
$3,085.
Okay,
Yes, that would be the revised, reduced amount.
Thank you.
Anything further?
Nothing.
Roll call, Holly.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Humphrey,
Aye.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes. Item number 10.
Item 10 is a recommendation of Doug Lawyer, Deputy Engineer, for Jeremy Evans, County Engineer, with concurrence of Thomas Igoe, County Administrator, to reduce the weight limit on County Bridge number C82-5.68, located on Marathon Eaton Road, Wayne Township. This is a reduction from 40 tons to 28 tons.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 10 for bridge weight reduction. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
I'll second.
Been moved and received a second. Any further conversation? Roll call, Holly.
Commissioner Humphrey,
Aye.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes. Item 11.
Item 11 is a recommendation of Doug Lawyer, Deputy Engineer, for Jeremy Evans, County Engineer, with concurrence of Thomas Igoe, County Administrator, to reduce the weight limit on County Bridge number C107-1.98, which is located on Shaler Road in Union Township, and this is a reduction from 40 tons to 28 tons.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 11. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Been moved and received a second. Any further conversation? Roll call, Holly.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Humphrey,
Aye.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes. Item 12.
12 is a recommendation of Jeremy Evans, County Engineer, with concurrence of Thomas Igoe, County Administrator, to execute record plat number 6293248 for Billingsley subdivision, section 2, block A, located in Batavia Township.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 12. Do I have a motion for approval?
Make a motion we adopt number 12.
A second.
Been moved and received a second. Roll call, Holly.
Commissioner Humphrey,
Aye.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes. Item 13.
Item 13 is a recommendation of Jeremy Evans, County Engineer, with concurrence of Thomas Igoe, County Administrator, to execute record plat number 6293249 for the replat of lots in the following subdivision in Miami Township. And this is Tarkington subdivision, replat of lots 11, 13, and 14. And the purpose is to create a new lot number 11A, which will combine the 3 previous lots.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 13. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Been moved and received a second. Any further conversation? Roll call, Holly.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Humphrey,
Aye.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes. Item number 14.
Item 14 is a recommendation of Jeremy Evans, County Engineer, with concurrence of Thomas Igoe, County Administrator, to execute record plat number 6293250 for Aspen Woods subdivision, section 1B. This subdivision is located in Union Township and includes Steamboat Drive and Blackcomb Drive. Now, both of these streets are private. They will not be for public maintenance, so there is no performance and maintenance bond on these streets.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 14. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
I'll second.
Been moved and received a second. Any further conversation? Roll call, Holly.
Commissioner Humphrey,
Aye.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes. Thanks, Craig. Item number 15.
Thank you.
Good morning. This is a recommendation of myself, Gerald Bryant, Director of Court Services, Clermont County Juvenile Court, with the concurrence of Thomas Eigel, County Administrator, to authorize David Painter, President of the Board of County Commissioners, to execute the sub-grant award agreement of the Coronavirus Emergency Supplemental Funding Grant for funding through the Office of Criminal Justice Services, a division of the Ohio Department of Public Safety, for and on behalf of the Board of County Commissioners, for the provision of relief funds for emergency protective measures relative to the COVID-19 pandemic, to purchase a variety of remote technology and personal protection equipment and supplies to keep personnel safe for eligible expenses incurred between March 1st and August 1st of 2020 in the amount of $24,370.15, with no local match required, therefore, pursuant to and in compliance with the terms and conditions set forth therein.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 15. Do I have a motion?
I make the motion.
Second.
Then moved and received a second. Any further conversation or discussion? Roll call, Holly.
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes.
Commissioner Humphrey.
Aye.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes. Thank you, Gary.
Thanks.
Item number 16.
Good morning, I'm William, Director with the Water Resource Department, and item 16 is a recommendation to execute maintenance bonds in the amounts outlined as surety for the installation of water and sanitary sewer main extensions, and this is to serve the Glen Murray Park Phase 1 subdivision in Pierce Township. Water bond is $6,400, and the sewer bond is $11,000.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 16. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
A second.
Then moved and received a second. Any further conversation or discussion? Roll call, Holly.
Commissioner Humphrey.
Aye.
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes. Item number 17.
Item 17 is a recommendation to adopt resolution number 189-20, resolving to amend the rules and regulations of the Clermont County Water Resources Department to revise Article 5, Section 5.3.2.6 in and as it relates to water service line installation requirements, and Schedule 2 entitled Water Meter and Installation Fees. So this is associated with water meters and installation, with all existing provisions in conflict herewith be and the same are hereby repealed effective February 1st, 2021, pursuant to Section 6103.02 of the Ohio Revised Code. So I'll explain a little bit what we're trying to do here. Currently, our crews, Water Resource Department crews, install all water services up to and including 2-inch water services. So this would be, in all the new subdivisions that are going in. Once the home is built and they're ready for water service or near construction's complete, they contact us, they pay fees, and our crews go out, tap the water main, and install the water service and the water meter. These fees to do that work were last updated in 2011, and then we're also increasing the fees for the water meter itself, which were last updated in 2016. For those fees, we just take our actual cost of the water meter and add 10%. We're also creating a new fee that's $60, and this is for water meter installation only. So effective February 1st, any new subdivisions that would be approved, they would be required to show the water service on the drawings, and the developer would be required to put the water service in. And then our crews would just go out and install the meter itself. They wouldn't be required to tap the main, install the service, and set the meter pit and so forth. This is how neighboring counties install the water services. They rely on the developer to do the majority of that work. We're on pace right now for 2020 to install around 500 new water services. We're using anywhere from 6 to 7 staff members to do that work. So if we have the developer doing that work, we're going to redirect those employees to start to be able to do other work that we're currently contracting out, such as water main break repairs and water leak repairs. So that's, in summary, that's what we're doing. We've actually had several builders. I know the county engineer's office is in support of this. to have all that work done as part of the subdivision when it's being installed.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 17. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
Then moved and received a second. Any further conversation or discussion?
Yes, I believe that it probably is less expensive for the developer too, and it gets in before the sidewalks and the streets, so we're not likely to damage brand new streets. I think it's an excellent idea, and it works in other counties, so good idea. Thank you.
Lyle, also, I would ring that same truth there. It allows a subcontractor obviously to be in control of their destiny and for them to be able to push their schedule and for them to be able to assume a risk that, they have basically the most stake in. The only question that I would ask is, how will the specifications be provided? How will they know what is acceptable to you as a department to install? How will the testing be handled? How will backflow preventers, those kind of things? I know you've thought that through.
We've developed some standard details that are part of our rules and regulations that we're going to provide to the developers in anticipation of this. So the water main itself will be tested just like it is now before it's tapped for the water services. So it'll be tested, pressure tested and bacteria tested. Once that's done, then the developer can come in and tap the water main and run into the water meter. The backflow preventers, we have a single check assembly inside the water meter itself, but the double check is located inside the home, usually in the basement, and that will still be installed as part of the structure. I think that answered all your questions. Anything else?
You bet. I knew you would have thought that through, but I think that makes perfect sense. Let them assume the risk, so that they don't have to wait on us if it becomes critical. Anything else, board? Roll call, Holly.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Humphrey,
Aye.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes. Item number 18.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lyle.
Number 18 is a recommendation to authorize Mary Raines, Director of the OMB, Wayne Prescott, Fleet Manager, Thomas J. Agel, County Administrator, or myself, for and on behalf of the Board of County Commissioners, to the authority to execute all documentation relative to requests for license plates, titles, and/or title transfers for county-owned vehicles from October 24th, 2020 to December 31st, 2021.
Board, you've heard the reading of item number 18. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
Second.
Then moved and received a second. Anything further? Roll call, Holly.
Commissioner Humphrey,
Aye.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes. Item number 19. Morning, Emily.
Morning. I have a recommendation of Mary Kay Raines, the Director of the Office of Management and Budget. This is to resolve to approve and authorize changes in the annual appropriation resolution number 191-19 for calendar year 2020. We have some supplemental appropriations for the year end. CBDG increased $36,536.73. The Common Pleas Special Projects increased salaries $4,000, and their fringes $1,000, and public assistance a reduction of $550,000.
Okay, board, you've heard the explanation. Item number 19. Do I have a motion for approval?
Make the motion.
Second.
Then moved and received a second. Any further conversation, questions? Roll call, Holly.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Humphrey,
Aye.
Commissioner Painter,
Yes. Thanks, Emily.
Thank you.
You bet. That concludes our agenda as presented. I'll go to F for additions to the agenda. Are there currently any additions for the agenda?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Then we will go to G. I'm requesting an executive session pursuant to section 121.22, G1 and G3 of the Ohio Revised Code to first, consider the employment, promotion, or compensation of one or more public employees and second, to confer with the prosecuting attorney regarding pending or imminent litigation respectively. Do I have a motion to move to executive session?
And would you like?
Oh, I'm sorry. Before I do that, and
We all jumped on him at once.
litigation respectively, and also to allow Commissioner-elect Bonnie Batchelor to participate in our executive session. That's my motion.
You made the motion.
No, I've read the executive
You
session.
asked for it.
Yep.
I will make that motion, including Ms. Batchelor, to attend that meeting.
I'll second that motion.
Got it. Roll call, Holly.
Commissioner Humphrey,
Aye.
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes. We will move to executive session. We will return and we will conduct further business. We have returned from executive session. We took no actions and we made no decisions. Board, prior to moving on with our agenda, I would ask that we entertain a recess to this meeting until 2 p.m. this afternoon, at such time that we will proceed with the regular scheduled agenda. Do I have a motion to recess the meeting until 2 p.m.?
I'll make the motion.
Okay.
It's been moved and received a second. Roll call, Holly.
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes.
Commissioner Humphrey.
Aye.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes, we will resume at 2 p.m. Thank you. I'd like to call this meeting from recess back into general session. Acknowledge Commissioner Humphreys joining us by a virtual meeting. Ed, good to see you.
We see you.
Okay. And as we move on with the agenda, I would like to make an addition to the agenda. I'd like to add a motion for an executive session pursuant to Section 121.22G1 of the Ohio Revised Code to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of one or more public employees. Do I have a motion to amend the agenda?
And to talk with the prosecuting attorney about pending or imminent litigation.
There's no litigation.
There's no litigation.
Okay.
I'd ask for a motion.
I'll make
Okay.
the motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call, Holly?
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes.
Commissioner Humphrey.
Aye.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes. Then I would move that we enter into executive session in accordance with Section 121.22G1 of the Ohio Revised Code to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of one or more public employees. Do I have a motion to move into executive session?
So moved.
I'll second.
Been moved and received a second. Roll call, Holly?
Commissioner Humphrey.
Aye.
Commissioner Corcoran.
Yes.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes, we will move into executive session. We will return and we will conduct further business. We are back from executive session. There were no actions taken and no decisions made. And so we'll move on with our regular agenda. H, county staff and elected official discussions. Greg, are there any county staff or elected officials that want to
No,
speak
sir.
today? Okay, then I would move to I, member comments. Board members, any comments today? Anything weighing heavy on your mind?
The same COVID thing. Stay safe. Wear your masks. Social distance. Be careful.
We've all been watching the news, and we know that vaccinations are right around the corner. This vaccine is moving towards Ohio. Any update on that you've heard, Greg? Any?
UC got their doses today. Their first batch, they sent some out.
And I understand that medical workers,
First responders.
first responders, and professionals that are associated right on the front lines are first. Absolutely. So we just have to keep being diligent. We have to just keep hanging in there. You know, with this vaccine on its way and some of it being here already, obviously that's going to be a different pathway for reaching herd immunity and getting over this pandemic. In addition, just like to talk about for a second, obviously there have been a lot of calls to the board concerning sheltering, animal sheltering, and the current contract that's in place. just wanted to make sure that everyone knows that it is not this board's intention to euthanize animals as a part of the practice of running an animal shelter. You know, I know, just speaking for myself, I'm committed to as low a euthanasia rate as possible. When we talk about that, that means that euthanasia is only used on animals that are not medically viable, which is determined by a licensed veterinarian, or those that are not trainable due to vicious characteristics that have happened previous in their life. Keep in mind that, you know, I subscribe to that these animals are left in a situation due to the neglect of humans. It's not their fault. And therefore, we are going to move with a path forward to do everything that we can to continue to protect and serve the not only the citizens of Clermont County that love and cherish animals, but also those animals. And Board, if you have any other comments?
Thank you, Commissioner Painter. I think you said exactly what a lot of us are feeling and know, and we support that 100%, at least I do.
You bet.
Yeah, and myself also. The process for counties is an RFP, and you receive a response to the RFP, you negotiate with those persons. If you come to an impasse, you have to start with the RFP all over again, and we simply don't have time for that. So I think that the only path we have forward is to hire personnel and do it in a very humane way. Direct those people to be no kill, as you explained, David. So I think that's the only path forward for us.
Right.
We are still proceeding in that direction, but we reach out to the community. We know we've had, there are many volunteers here in Clermont County that have helped at the animal shelter. We're continuing to ask for your help. If you are involved with that process, we ask you to continue to be involved. Those who run humane societies here in Clermont County obviously will be reaching out to you and expecting your support also. So with that,
And people that are adopting or fostering dogs, we want to continue all of that.
any other comments, Board? Well, with that, I'd ask for a motion to adjourn our meeting today.
I'll make that motion.
A second.
Been moved and received a second. Roll call, Holly.
Commissioner Corcoran,
Yes.
Commissioner Humphrey,
Aye.
Commissioner Painter.
Yes. That concludes our meeting of December 14th, 2020. We are getting very close to Christmas.
Ooh.
So if I don't get a chance to tell you, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Thanks for tuning in today, and we'll see you Wednesday. Bye.